Vishnu, the word Vishnu means all pervasive. All pervasive, that is the one who is omnipresent, the one who lives everywhere, he dwells everywhere, he is in all the atoms, in everything which exists. This is the meaning of the word Vishnu. Then Vishnu, as you know, last time we did the Trinity. Vishnu is the second member of the Trinity, right? In the Trinity, we have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiv being the destroyer. So he is the protector, the second member. Those who follow Vishnu, those who pray Vishnu, they are called Vaishnav. Those who pray Vishnu, they are called Vaishnav. And the sect is by his name, bien sûr, which we call Vaishnavism, right? Vaishnavism, c'est a group of people or the sect, and the people themselves, we call them Vaishnav, right? Maintenant, if someone is a Vaishnav, a Vaishnav does not pray only the form of Vishnu. I guess so all of you might seen the form of Vishnu. This is Vishnu, right? So the one, a Vaishnav, n'est pas seulement prier sa forme là. A Vaishnav, the one who prays Ram, is also called a Vaishnav. The one who prays, let's say, Krishna, Ranganatha, Vitthala, tout ça là, je t'appelle Vaishnav même. D'accord? That is when we pray any form of Vishnu. Ram, Krishna, Vitthala, Venkateshwar, tout ça, they are the different forms of Vishnu. So all these people, they are called Vaishnav, right? But yes, nous ban comment on appelle ça? Dans Vaishnavism même, nous avons différents sectes maintenant. Vaishnavism, les cassés en ce moment-là. Well, this is not our issue right now. This is not the topic for us. But the thing is, you must know what is Vaishnavism, what is Vaishnav, right? So he is the one who takes incarnation, right? He comes on earth taking incarnation, that is avatar. You may get a question, please note, you may get a question in the exams. What is the meaning of avatar? What is the meaning of avatar? Don't write incarnation, right? What is meaning of avatar? It means that to descend on earth, coming down to earth or on earth, right? So why is it that God has to come on earth? I hope you can remember your lessons you might have been doing at school. Why does God come on earth, right? Principalement, nous catégoriser plutôt under two objectives. The first objective is to set examples. Bon Dieu, il pas venu la terre pour tout y. That is not his primary objective. His primary objective is to set examples, to show us the right path. As si nous nous parlons comprendre, then he's going to eliminate us for sure. For example, you might be knowing Ram and Ravan, yes, yeah. So Ravan, he was very intelligent. He was very, he knew the Vedas and all, but he had demoniac qualities. Ram had to kill him eventually, right? But Ram showed the right path. Ram gave him the chance to correct himself. Mais quand nous en comprend, the end is definitely painful, right? So these are the two objectives of God taking incarnation, avatar. So Vishnu has this work of taking incarnation, of taking avatar. Most of the time, we don't hear that Brahma is taking incarnation, or bien Shiv is taking incarnation. But Of course, you may think that Shiv does take certain forms, right? For example, Virbhadra is a form of Shiv. The Shiv means out of himself, out of Shiv, Bhadra came out, right? But l'invini, il fait ce travail, Virbhadra, il fait ce travail, après y aller, right? But taking incarnation, coming on earth to live among people, to set examples among men, this is the job of, this is the work of Vishnu, because he's the preserver, right? So the preserver has to ensure that everything is going on smoothly. There's preservation going on, there's sustenance going on, that people are following dharma and so and so. That is his duty, right? So when the avatar comes here, he behaves in a very human way. You might be knowing the story of Ram, I believe so. So he just behaved like all humans. At times, yes, Ram did certain miracles, Krishna did certain miracles, or if you talk about Buddha also did certain miracles, yes, but most of the time they were living like common men. They lived like common man and they were living among common man. Okay, they were not different. Parce que if, comme on dit, the purpose of God to come on earth is to set examples. S'il n'est pas vivre parmi nous, right, we won't be able to learn. We won't be able to learn, right? So he has to live among us. Il vit ensemble avec nous, then then he sets example and so, right? So we were saying that God behaves in a very human way, right? To show us the right path. The most prominent incarnations, maybe you can say, we always talk about Ram and Krishna, right? About Ram and Krishna, we always talk about them. These two, Nunausi Buddha, right? These two are believed to have to be complete incarnation, what you call Purna Avatar. I know if you know, all of you know Hindi a bit. This is what we call Purna Avatar, that is a full or a complete incarnation. Could be male, in Khanti, as a youth, as an adult, as a in adult, in kind of vieux, into inverted comma, then Yali, right? So this is full incarnation. We have Parshuram also, right? Parshuram. But the most, c'est qui nous plie que c'est Ram and Krishna. Well, ça, I give my students, but this is not, okay, this is not meant to be learned for your syllabus, okay? Just for you to know it, c'est pour ça, right? So the scriptures mention 7 characteristics of a divine incarnation. When God comes on earth, he incarnates, Yena 7 characteristics. At times we talk about 16 also, right? So he has prosperity, he has a splendor, prosperity, eternal fame, wisdom, non-attachment. He has the power of creation, the power of sustenance, and the power of destruction. Okay, to one divine incarnations within us are 7 characteristics. I'm again telling you, this is not for your syllabus. When I do my class, I always like adding things qui même li pas dans syllabus parce que at least it can enrich you, right? So do note that this is not meant to be in your work. Now, this you need to know, you need to learn. I hope you know that. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, who came in the Dwapar Yuga, he said that he declared that he comes on earth, he incarnates from time to time. Whenever there is a rise in evil, a rise in unrighteousness, a decline in righteousness, goodness diminue, the Lord comes on earth to protect the virtuous and to eliminate the evil. He comes from time to time. So you must actually know the verse, but I know the verse is a bit long. C'est deux verses, ça au fait. Chapitre 4, verse 7 et 8, right? Together, it has this meaning. But, you know, quand on fait un devoir, surtout un devoir 10 points, it's good to write verses to earn marks. Parce que ça, au bout d'un point là, du côté au criticism, est-ce que comment on est capable de criticize, comment on est capable elaborate. Okay, so no need to learn. If you can, you learn, that is good for you. But même si vous écrivez ça en la ligne là, yada, hidharmasya, ou met 3 points, ou close inverted comma. Open inverted comma, yada hidharmasya, glanir bhavati bharata, if you want. 3 points, point continuation, comment le dire, et ou close inverted comma. After quand fini mettre ça verse là, il pas fini là. You need to write the meaning as well. If you are writing something in Sanskrit or Hindi in your work, you need to write the meaning in English. As there, if ever among you, you don't, maybe you can't learn Hindi also, malgré qu'il est dans Roman letters, right? But no problem, you just learn the meaning of it. Mais là, quand on peut écrire des voix ou mention that Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, if you remember the chapter, good, sinon no problem. You say Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita has said that whenever there is a decline in righteousness, etc., etc. You write it in your own words, right? Ça, c'est ma façon que, you know, if you're writing all these things and I'm reading your answer, donne-moi l'impression que yes, this person knows how to do references. Yeah, you'll get your marks. I continue. So you must know this, where Krishna talks about the purpose of taking incarnation, right? So Vishnu has that purpose. Now, if you see the world is a mixture of good and evil. Nous tous, let's be frank, nous tous, nous avons goodness and evil dans nous. No one can say entre nous, no one can say at least we are perfect, totally perfect. It's not possible. If we were perfect, there we would not have been here. We would have been liberated, you know, enjoying in the heaven or somewhere, right? Since we are not perfect, we are here. So the world has a mixture of good and evil. In our goodness, in our evil, right? Why do we have this? Bien sûr, des gens s'en comprend, etc., etc., for all reasons what you might say. But one of the main reasons is because of the gunas, right? We have 3 gunas. C'est un sujet que tu peux connaître parce que quand j'ai fait Bhagavad Gita, il y a ça dedans. Nous avons 3 gunas. Gunas veut dire quality. Au fait, il n'est pas prononcé as gunas. Il n'est pas supposé pronounce as gunas. It is gun, right? In Hindi, gun. But quand on met en anglais, nous disons gunas, right? So we have 3 gunas, sattva gun, rajas gun, and tamas gun. Sattva gun, c'est goodness, calmness, purity, near to perfection. Ça, c'est sattva gun. Rajas gun, when we are hyper, when we are too energetic, when we are angry. This is rajas gun. And tamas, you know well, laziness, sleepy, lethargy, confusion, tout ça là, c'est because of tamas. So when God created the whole universe, the whole world, right? Tu les temps de mettre formule là comme ça. Je ne vais pas écrire formule dans des bols, hein? Ça, c'est just for you to understand. I always explain it in this way to be easier. Purush and Prakriti is equal to creation. Purush c'est qui? Purush pas veut dire man here. Purush means God. Prakriti means nature. Nature, or you call that matter, right? So Purush, when he or it, n'importe comment on peut appeler God, he or it, when he merges with Prakriti, with matter, there is creation. Okay? There is creation, that is nous gagnons la terre, nous gagnons soleil, nous gagnons water, the space, the earth, the planet, no, the rivers, the trees, tout ça là, even human beings, animals and all, right? So when we were created, sa trois guna là, in met ça dans nous. In ça dans nous since our birth. Since our creation. Right now, we are all alive. We all have these three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. But there is always one gun which predominates. I'm very calm, very peaceful. It means that sattva gun is predominating in me. If I'm too energetic ou bien en colère, it means rajas is predominating. Et si mon pékin paresse, sommeil, whatever, it is tamas gun predominating, right? So since our creation, we have this. Maintenant, back here. So we have a world with a mixture of good and evil, à cause sa three gunas, right? À cause sa three gunas. Et bien sûr, je te connais à cause, maybe, un démon n'a pas envie de changer, il pourrait être méchant. Tout ça là, c'est other reasons, right? So, right now in the world, you must have maybe understood or seen, right? Que evil is increasing. You will see corruption everywhere. Nowadays, you can see the war happening between Ukraine and Russia. Qui fait anouer ça parce que there is no balance in the world, in the creation. There is no balance. Ou bien on appelle ça equilibrium. There is no equilibrium in the world. Pena balance. Quand pena balance, ça veut dire good and evil li débalancé. Je ne pas balancer, right? Et si nous get le monde today, nous pas qu'à dire goodness plie beaucoup. C'est evil qui plie beaucoup de nos jours, right, in the world today. So what is happening? There is an imbalance. When God created the world, il met tous les deux ensemble. C'est goodness 50%, evil 50%. Divisé, balancé. Quand il débalance la même, it is not correct. Si goodness augmente, tant mieux. Of course, tant mieux. But evil, no. Si evil augmente, everything will be destroyed, right? So this is eventually happening today in Kali Yuga. So then when this evil becomes greater than the goodness, an imbalance happening. When the imbalance happens, God takes incarnation. Whether it is to help certain kind of people, good people, to help good people, or to destroy the bad ones, right? So the point here is for explaining all this thing is Vishnu has this job. He has this work to do, right? So this divine intervention is essential from time to time, right? So this one I told you, it is the duty of Vishnu to incarnate. And he served as a role model, as we discussed earlier. He set certain ideals, okay, certain way of living life. For example, Ram, il montre nous comment nous vivre nous la vie bien, as a good human being, as a good son, as a good father, as a good king, etc., as a good friend and all, right? So we learn from them. They set ideals for us. And also they give us hope and courage. When they come on earth, when God comes on earth, he gives us hope and courage that yes, things will be better, right? So initially I was talking about Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism is the sect, the group of people who worship Vishnu. Why? How do they worship Vishnu? So by doing bhakti. Bhakti with a devotion. So it's a devotion to worship Vishnu. And their aim, why do they do bhakti? Is to get moksha, to get liberation. Ou bien on appelle ça freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Cycle of birth and death, on appelle ça samsara. Okay. Sansar in Hindi littéralement, il veut dire the world, yes, but samsara actually means the cycle of birth and death, right? Now, the important part now, the features of Vishnu. Dans le syllabus, you supposé qu'on tout ça, the features of Vishnu, everything that we are going to see, you need to know all of them, right? You may get 1 mark question on this. You may get 2 marks question, ou bien vous gagnez dans 5 points. You can get it on 10 also. Could be capable de décrire the characteristic of Vishnu, right? Well, it's quite an easy question, I'm saying, like, but it might come. You never know, so you must know everything, right? So Vishnu, most of the time when we see Vishnu, Vishnu is either standing, right? Et tout le temps, nous pouvons trouver in the Milky Ocean, right? In the Milky Ocean, either standing or sleeping. Either standing or sleeping. And there will be always the serpent, right? The serpent with him. So Vishnu is always resting on the serpent coil, right? The serpent coil, either standing or lying down. And I standing, ou bien Lakshmi with him. Like when he's lying down, Lakshmi is always sitting next to him. And from his navel, it's not in this photo, it's here. From this navel comes a lotus. On that lotus, there is Brahma sitting, Brahma the creator, right? So these are different ways comment Vishnu is actually depicted, right? Most of the time you will see that Vishnu is shown wearing yellow clothes. Yellow clothes most of the time. Yellow, the one who wears yellow is known as Pitambar. Pitambar, right? Even Ganesh is also called Pitambar because he wears yellow as well. So why yellow? Yellow is the color of knowledge and learning, right? It also symbolizes happiness, joy, happiness, peace, right? C'est pour ça he's depicted wearing the yellow. So he's called Pitambar, right? And yellow also represent, you know, festivals celebrated during the spring, right? Parce que during the spring, you know, festivals in India, tout maximum de faire plantation. Quand le ban crop in grow properly, so vous trouvez, il paraît yellowish, right? So this yellow also represents the cultivation of food and all, right? So he is shown having 4 hands. The 4 hands represent dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Okay. And he holds different things, different weapons in his hand. Okay, we will see later the weapons. He has a garland around his neck, yes, yeah, in a garland of flowers. The garland of flowers is known as Vijayanti Mala. which means the garland of victory. Vijay, Vijay means victory, right? On his chest, you will see there is a jewel. He wears a jewel, which is known as the Kaustuba, right? The jewel. This jewel represents consciousness, right? And this jewel, Kaustuba, comes from the churning of the ocean, right? And it is said that Kaustuba is the most precious jewel that exists so far, right? Et je vous trouvez là, l'IENA weapons. Ça, c'est un chakra. Chakra, which is to discuss, which is known as Sudarshan. Sudarshan chakra. This is the Kaumudi. Okay, Kaumudi. And this is the Panchajanya. Panchajanya, which is the count. Let's see that. Okay, we'll see that in the future slides. So he is depicted blue in complexion. La plupart du temps, vous trouvez comme si in blue. Give me 1 minute, please. He is depicted blue most of the time, right? Blue, actually, parce que, you know, quand nous get sky, nous vous trouvez blue, right? So blue is infinity. Infinity in the sense there's no beginning, there's no end. So Vishnu, depicted as blue, has no beginning, has no end, right? Bon, I sent it, not sent, you can find few videos on YouTube as well if you want more about it. Now, Nunzeki Lienakatlame 4 arms. One, he holds the conch, the shankha, the conch. The conch is known as Panchajanya, right? The word Panchajanya actually means the 5 elements: fire, water, ether, air, and earth, the 5 elements. The Panchajanya, the conch, represents creativity. You know, when you blow the conch in sound, it is said that when God was alone, he uttered the word Om, there was a sound, and that sound did creation, right? So, c'est pour ça qu'il aussi symbolise creativity. And I guess, you know, we all use the shankha during puja and all, where it is believed to be very auspicious. It removes evils, right? We have in another hand, he has the discus, which is known the chakra Sudarshan, or you just call it the Sudarshan, right? Sudarshan, qu'il fait avec Sudarshan, he destroys with Sudarshan. And when he destroys, there is also reconstruction. So Sudarshan means destruction, and deuxième, l'ikapav mean aussi illumination, illumination, right? Next is the Gada. The Gada is known as the Kaumudi, and the Gada represents strength. Someone who is not physically strong cannot use a Gada properly. If they're physically very strong, right? So it symbolizes strength. Then you have number 4, the Padma. He always holds a lotus in his hand, the Padma. The lotus symbolizes purity, because you know the lotus en bas in a mud, but when it comes out, it's pure, right? So that's why it represents purity. It also represents enlightenment, self-regeneration, or rebirth. But the main thing here, it represents purity. If you might get a question during the exams, name one thing which Vishnu holds in his hand, Padma peut-être, or the lotus. Deuxième question peut être, what does it signify? And then you write purity. That will be enough, right? So now these are the 10 incarnations of Vishnu. Vishnu has taken There are more than that, but these are considered to be the major incarnations of Vishnu. We have the Matsya, Kurma, Varha. Kurma is the tortoise. Sorry, mauvais bras. Matsya veut dire the fish. Kurma veut dire the tortoise. Varha, c'est the boar. So vous trouvez les comme un boar, right? Narasimha, you know, the half man, half lion. Vaman, he's a dwarf. Parshuram, he's Ram with the battle axe, so weapon. And this is Ram, you know, Krishna, Buddha, and Kalki, incarnation. These are the 10 incarnations, right? Vous avez une two incarnation dans ce syllabus, mais seulement vous avez besoin d'une bonne incarnation. You never know how a question comes and all, right? You must know all the 10 incarnations, right? So why did he come as the Matsya? I'll just go through it quickly. It is to save Manu and the 7 sages, Saptarishi, 7 sages. That's why he came as a fish having a horn there, right? There was the flood, so he came to rescue them. Then he came as the tortoise because there was the churning of the ocean. And Kutipuna demons and Kutiban gods, they were churning the ocean where you have Amrit, which came out, you have poison, so Vishnu came as the tortoise. Lela lie down in the water, bien sûr. Lela se pose sa mountain là, l'eau sur les deux. And then they were doing the churning of the ocean. The boar incarnation, he came to uplift or to save the planet, which was taken by Hiranyaksh. Hiranyaksh dragged the earth into the bottom of the sea. So he came to rescue that. Then you have Narasimha. Narasimha, he came to kill the Hiranyakashipu and to save Prahalad. You have Vaman. Vaman, when he came, he asked Bali 3 steps of length. Premier step, he covered the whole world, the whole planet. And deuxième step, he covered the whole atmosphere, space, the whole universe. For the 3rd step, there was no place. And Bali offered his head to put his 3rd step. When he put his 3rd step on Bali, he pushed Bali to hell. He did not kill him, he pushed him to hell, right? Then you have Parshuram. Parshuram came mostly to kill, to destroy the the Kshatriyas, yes, male Kshatriyas. They were kings, but they were torturing people. So he came mainly for that. And you have Ram, I guess all of you know the story of Ram killing Ravan. You have Krishna, the giver of the message of Bhagavad Gita. Then you have Buddha. Buddha is known to be the Prince of Peace, right? The Prince of Peace. He came at the beginning of Kali Yuga. Okay, we are in Kali Yuga right now. He came at the beginning. Right now, we are almost nearing the end of Kali Yuga. So at the end of Kali Yuga, we are going to have Kalki incarnation, right? Supposément, d'après Ban Puran, Kalki Puran, Bhavishya Puran, he will be riding the horse, holding the sword, etc. Right? So these are the incarnations of Vishnu, and this is about Vishnu. I hope you could refresh your mind. You must learn everything about Vishnu, all the body parts, qu'il veut dire. Body parts, I mean to say whatever he has on his body. What does it mean? Just knowing that he holds a lotus is not enough. What is the significance of the lotus? You need to write it, right? He has a discus. Discus, what does it signify? As we say, destruction and illumination. So all these you need to learn, right? So guys, not guys, so this is all for today. I hope